Hi, I'm Liz. I'm a paracyclist. My first experience on a bike was when I was probably about 9 or 10 years old, and I was going down a hill in Karori Park and flipped off it and broke my nose. Didn't really like cycling too much after that, but my real sport was running and swimming. I was around 14 when I first started noticing the MS. Fast forward to about 2004, 2005, I was doing my master's degree, and one day I woke up and had numbness in my hand. My face started drooping. I had numbness down most of the side of my body, and I went to the doctor's office to get the report. It was less than 24 hours, and on the desk, but it was upside down, was my file, and it said diagnosis multiple sclerosis. When I first got diagnosed, he said I'd be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life within 6 months to a year, and there was a possibility of death, although unlikely, and so I gave up. I didn't think that I could do anything like that. I stopped everything. I met up with an old friend from the track. Her name, you've probably heard of her, Katie Horan. She's a New Zealand Paralympian, and she and I used to run the track in Newtown together. She said a few choice words to me, and she said, you know, get your story self up and moving, and yeah, you've got to, you can't do this. That's not who you are. You've always been a runner. You've always been athletic. Let's put you on a bike and see what happens.
I'm Steve Bale, and I am a coach and best buddy for Liz Gasson. The great thing about coaching is if you learn to understand those people and their challenges quite deeply and strongly, that really affects your cycling a lot. It's not just the training part. I didn't really know there was such a person out there that was capable of overcoming this huge adversity in their life, because it affects everything. And Liz is just such a special person to be able to overcome that and do something which is a huge, audacious goal. And so how has it been? It's been life-changing for me.
So there's a lot of falls, there's a lot of dusting yourself off, there's a lot of physio, there's a lot of stretching, a lot of muscle building, a lot of adaptations that have to happen. It's just trying to figure out what can you do with the amount of energy or pain that you've got, and adapting to it and making the most of what you can do. People with MS just don't usually become high-performance athletes. There's not an understanding around it, there's limited support, and people just, the disease is too brutal.
For Liz, the medical possibilities for something pretty catastrophic to happen if you don't handle things properly are pretty high. Multiple sclerosis means that her nerve, doesn't work so good in her feet and things like that, and there is a motion to unclipping your foot from the pedal, and that's very difficult for her when she's very fatigued. So we have a highly choreographed way that I catch her to make sure that she's safe, because she's just clipped into the pedals. And we've had times where she has collapsed after a race, and I feel there's always medical staff on hand and things, but I want to feel like I have a good understanding of what is a good way to deal with the situation in the short term to make sure that Liz is safe.
The thing that I am absolutely determined to do is go as far as I can with cycling. My dream is to go to the Paralympics. Both Paris 2024 and LA 2028 are my immediate goals, but we've also just gone to a World Cup in Canada, and that was an incredible experience as well. So in this next year we've got quite a few multiple different selection events for the upcoming Paralympics. So we've got quite a few international trips coming up, and it's just such an incredible opportunity, something I never thought I'd ever be able to do. The bike's actually been able to, rather be MS being my anchor, it's been a pathway to having wings. It makes me feel like I've got that movement back, I've got a bit more control over my body, and yeah, I can soar. We've got a website on Give a Little. What people can really help us with is we need financial aid. Any kind of support, financial support, gear, time, ideas. There's just not a lot of funding for athletes. There's no support in Wellington for para-athletes who are wanting to do what I'm doing.
If you want to see someone who you can get behind and believe in, and who will do the thing they said they're going to do, and will put their money and their effort and their blood, sweat and tears behind it, you can get behind Liz.